trucking across the USA. Yeah, I'm trucking.
I'm not trucking no
Just
more.
about every day. Yeah, I'm trucking.
No.
So what you got to
No.
say?
No. Stop. Hold the presses. Stop. No. I'm not trucking anymore. I gotta change my theme song. My trucking days are done. It's over. It's over, baby. That's right. It's over. Anyhow, hi Jolie. I see Jolie's in the chat. It's just you and me right now, kid. So, good morning. It's morning here in Las Vegas. Good afternoon over there in the Midwest, Eastern Midwest part of the country. But I'm just having my morning coffee here at 10:06 in the morning in Las Vegas. So, cheers. I don't know why I keep getting Starbucks coffee. I really don't like it. I like the restaurant coffee better. Anyhow, I went down to Starbucks. Got this wonderful bacon Gouda cheese egg sandwich. I don't even like that. I guess I'm not going to go to Starbucks anymore. Anyhow, here I am. This is my new digs for now. This is a little, kind of like a one-bedroom little hotel suite. I don't know, but where they do weekly and monthly rates. I got this for the week. I'm still trying to figure out where I want to move to. So for now, this will be it. I swear, it says they put sugar. I have been drinking my coffee black lately, but for Starbucks, I wanted cream and sugar because I just don't really like their coffee. I think all they put was sugar. Oh, that says light cream. It's so light, in fact, that it doesn't even look like there's any cream. See, this is what it's like. I should just go inside and just do it myself instead of the drive-through. It looks like black coffee, and like I said, I've been drinking my coffee black lately, but I feel like Starbucks, you need to doctor it up. I just don't really like it. Maybe my taste buds aren't. Maybe I tried to stir it. Maybe I need a longer stir stick. Hegemony. Hey, thanks for being here, by the way. Let's see here. Let's see if the spoon will do the trick. Got the AC going. Hopefully that's not too loud. I don't know. It's coming across the airwaves here. But, I mean, it looks like black coffee to me. Which is fine, which is what I, was, like I said, that's what how I've been drinking it lately. But I just wanted cream because I really don't, like I said, I don't really like their coffee. I mean, yeah, it just has this weird bitter taste. I don't like bitter coffee. Starbucks has bitter coffee. And I'm not into all these other, fancy smancy drinks, especially for breakfast. Okay, so, anyhow, make sure you hit the thumbs up buttons. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Looks like we're up to 638. All right, 638. Feeling great. And so the big news, I guess the big news is I sold my truck. I finally sold it. And, it's just a truck. And, I was trying to put some news on here for some reason. I don't know why. Not really watching it. But, okay, so here's the deal with my truck. I bought the truck brand spanking new in 2015. I mean, it was literally like April 15th of 2015. And in the 8 years of time of driving, I managed to put 858,000 miles on it. So that's over 100,000 a year driving. So I was driving the hell out of it. I was trying to maintain it as best I could. Regular oil changes and, PMs. But at the end of the day, at 858,000, it was getting to the point where it was becoming kind of a money pit. It was in the shop. There was just new things popping up, and everything was expensive. Working on those trucks is very expensive, and so I decided to park it. And that was about 4 months ago now, right? It was the end of February. I think it was the mid-February or end of February. I decided to park the truck, and that's when I went on the Uber app, and I applied to be an Uber driver. Well, actually, I think I had done that before I actually parked the truck. I think I was on the road because it takes a couple weeks where they do all the background checks and all that kind of stuff. And then when it came back that I was eligible to drive, that's when I said, okay, I'm going to park the truck. I had the truck in the shop, and they were doing a bunch of work on it, and they were evaluating all this stuff, all the work it would need. And I remember I paid them, I don't know what it was. They brought the price down because they ended up not doing all the work that I was going to have it done, because I took it out of the shop. And but it was going to need probably about $20,000 worth of work to get it to be a good, reliable road truck. And so I just decided, do I want to spend 20,000? And I just or not. And I started doing Uber, and I really liked Uber. I mean, from the get-go. I just felt so I felt like this huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. For one thing, that I didn't really even realize was there until it was lifted, right? Sometimes we don't know the weight is there until it's lifted, and we're like, oh wow, I've been carrying this, for a long time now. And so then that made the decision a lot easier. I was like, okay, I don't want to spend $20,000 on the truck. And I think I'm just going to try this Uber thing for a while. And so I've been doing it ever since. And I like it. So I decided to go ahead and sell the truck. Hey, KO! Kenneth Otto is in the house. Wait. No, he's in the house. He's in the chat. So I decided to sell the truck. They'll be picking it up today. They haven't. I've been paying for I've still been paying for parking for that damn thing because they were supposed to come. That's one of the things I've been dealing with, trying to get this hauling company to take it. I've been paying for parking because I have no place to store it. Really, I mean, I have to pay for parking, and I've been doing that. It's only $15 a day, but still, that adds up. It's been like weeks now. You know, I did have it impounded because I was parking at a place where I wasn't paying, and I was keeping up on it. Like, I would make sure I would move it, and they wouldn't do anything. You know, it was okay, but I did go through this one, like, I guess about a 3-day period where I didn't check on it, and when I went back to go check on it, it was gone. And man, was that like, you know, this sort of what is it, pit in your stomach or whatever. Like, oh my God, they took my truck. And that was a big ordeal. So I had to get that out of impound. That cost me like $800 or something to do all the stuff I had to do. Because not only for the impound fee, because the impound fee, whatever, to get it out of there was like, what was it, like $670 or something like that. And then, but I had to get, since I've been parking it, and since I left Schneider, I had been getting all of my insurance through Schneider, where I would pay automatically every week. I would pay my premiums for the truck insurance. But once I quit Schneider, quit the contract with them, you know, all that stuff was null and void, and I hadn't gotten any insurance for it because it was just parked there, and I just, you know, hadn't really looked into getting any type of insurance for it. So it wasn't even insured. So in order for me to get it out of the impound, I had to go get it insured. I got a 1-day policy just so I could get it out, and that was like, what was that, like $180 or something? So anyhow, all these things, you know, I was like, I'm going to sell it. You know, I don't want to put the money into it. I don't have a place to store it. Wherever I store it, it's going to cost me more money. That's going to be money. So I was trying to find places to sell it. I found some places online, and you know, I got offers. I had some people come out and look at it. They had their mechanics look at it and evaluate it and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I was trying to get, you know, I was hoping I can get like 15 or 20 grand for it. I knew there's a lot of problems with it. I knew it had $20,000 worth of work, you know, to go into it. So I was willing to go down even as far as like 10 or 12,000. But no one would even take it for that much. So here's what I ended up getting for it. For this $165,000 truck, I got 4 measly grand for it. 4 grand. But I can tell you, it probably has a blown head gasket. Hey, Hedging to me. Oh yeah, hi. He's saying hi to everybody. It had leaks. It had seals that were bad. That all needed to be put in place. So, you know, they're going to have to go into the engine, take it apart, and replace all those seals and everything. That's very expensive. Now, if a mechanic buys that, the parts for all that is only a couple $100 probably. That's the thing. It's all labor. So let's say if a mechanic gets their hold on it, then all they're using their own time, you know, to do it. But I'm not a mechanic, and I don't have the time. I don't have the tools. I don't have the space. I don't have anything like that, and I don't have the knowledge to do that. I mean, that's big diesel engines. That's not like working on your own car, you know. So I was just really glad, I was happy to get something for it, and now it's a headache that I don't have to worry about anymore. So it's gone. I mean, I like the truck, and everything, but what can I say? Like Jolie says, it's end of an era. But my my Class A, my CDL truck, commercial driver's license is still good for 4 more years. I still have 4 years on that before it expires. Um, yeah, Ken says even a shade tree mechanic needs a partner, a buddy. Yeah, to change a head gasket because you need someone to help. Yeah, that absolutely. That would be a big job. It's a two-man job, yeah, at least. So you're right about that. Um, for that big truck, at least a two-man job, So, but anyhow, Chaos says a good shade tree. Oh, I remember that. Even a shade tree mechanic could do a car engine in about 1 day's work, and that's assuming you have to go to the store parts. Um, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, my license. Yeah, so I'm doing the Uber thing. I really like Uber, but that might not last forever either. I mean, I've been reading how Uber they lose money. They've never made money as a company, which I find really hard to believe because it seems like there's a billion Ubers, especially here in Vegas. Um, I don't know. It's just hard for me to believe that they don't make money. So there are people that say that Uber's going to go out of business, they're going to go bankrupt, blah blah blah. I don't know. Who knows? That's not really something that I can control. So I, let's say Uber goes out of business. Let's say Lyft goes out of business, or whatever. Rideshare goes out of business, which I don't really see because well, I personally hate taxi cabs. I think that taxi cabs are very overpriced. I think the drivers are mainly are rude, very rude. I think their cars are dirty and disgusting, and I think that they're just inefficient, and they're very antiquated in the system. I think going through an app is the way to go. I think, at least for me, I keep my car nice and clean. I wipe it down with wipes, and I keep the germs out of there, and I try to be as polite, and I try to be somewhat uh, you know interesting to my passengers, and I try not to be rude. Although I did get I did get a recent comment that said that I was rude to somebody, but I guess you can't please everybody. But let's say Uber becomes driverless, which I don't really see happening within the next few years, and I don't think I'm going to be Ubering for the next 20 years. But maybe I was thinking maybe the next 5 years maybe. I don't think driverless is going to take over Uber within the next 5 years. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. In any case, if I really need to get a job, I still have my CDL, and that's good till 2027, December of 2027. So, I've still got over 4 years on that, and I can always go back to truck driving. So I guess truck driving is my fallback, right? Let's see. KO says you will always break the socket that tightens the engine bolts. Um, KO says if you buy your own car, you can always be a private cab driver. Lots of cab drivers double as Uber and Lyft drivers in private cars to make more money. I don't want to be a cab driver. I hate cab drivers. KO says, no, Uber will have drivers in cars as long as we have people who hate automation and don't trust it. But eventually people will trust it. It might take 10 or 15 or 20 years before people trust it. Maybe longer. Certainly, but, I'll probably be dead and gone by then, so. But, yeah, so like truck driving is my fallback. So. Hey, Wes Webb. Wes Webb's here, thanks. Thanks for being here. Wes says we have 3 lurkers. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for me. And subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Kale says, breaking news, Ryan Seacrest named new host of Wheel of Fortune. Oh, Pat Sajak retired. What about Vanna? Is she still doing the show? Westweb says, "Oh no, well you don't like Ryan Seacrest?" Pat Sajak's been doing this for like what? At least 40 years, I think. Right, I bet you. Kale says Sajak is retiring after the season. Yeah, people gotta retire. You can't do shit forever, man. You know? Let the man retire. Let the man have a little break before he dies. You know? Not that he's had a real rough life. He makes millions of dollars, and they probably tape all those week's episodes in one day. He might only work 1 or 2 days a week or whatever. So, there's that. Wes Webb says, let Seacrest turn the letters and Vanna run the show. KO says, Vanna is staying. I wonder why she's staying. I mean, I don't know what people's personal lives, but I would think she would be financially okay. Because this 40 years, this will. I always had to move the thing because those stupid hearts in the way. This will be the 41st season with the duo Sajak and White. Well, yeah, everyone has their own thing. This just seems like, Vanna should probably retire too. Get, change the whole, both of them at the same time. Change them out, Anyhow. Who am I to say? Ryan Seacrest. Jolie says, I need to go out with my brother and my phone is about to die. I'm a bad mod, not prepared. Hey, thanks for being here, Jolie. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. And go have a good time with your brother. That's more important. Family's more important than Trucker John. So, I'm just sitting here eating donuts and shit. All right, thanks for being here. And Kato says, have fun. Wes says, like you said, it's an easy gig. Why'd Sajak turn out to be dying of something? Well, I don't know. I mean, easy or not, e- 40 years or 41 years, that's a long time to do something. You know? Kato says, Ken could mod. Jolie says, thanks, John. Have a great day. You too, Jolie. We'll see you next time. We'll see you around. See you in the chats. See you. Try to go on Thursday. Kato says, Westweb, I can never guarantee my presence here during this time. Westweb says, I taught for 40 years, 36 full time. Yeah, did you want to keep going, or what? I mean, or did you say, 40 years is enough? It's kind of how I feel about truck driving. I've been driving for about 20 years, and I kind of feel like that's enough. I kind of feel like I just kind of feel like I'm done with it. But truck driving, it kept me employed, kept food in my stomach, and it helped me to be able to, help my kids to, just support my kids and to. I'm just watching this show. They just threw somebody off a building. For some reason, but it helped me to have the ability to be able to send them money when they needed money and help them with school and all that kind of stuff. So, I can't, badmouth trucking. It was a good living, and it helped, helped with the family, helped me to support my family and stuff. So, but I think it's just time because although I mean there was times when I really enjoyed being on the road. When the times when the truck was running good and everything was everything was up to date and everything was going good. I love that. But then once the truck started having problems, it did become stressful, financially stressful. And but if I ever do it again, I mean, I've learned a lot in these 20 years, and I think I would, because I had never been a owner operator before. Well, that's not true. About I guess a couple. No, it was more than that. It was like I think it was 2009. Was it 2009 or 2008? 2009, somewhere around there. I did lease a truck through Prime Inc., and that was horrible. I have nothing good to say about Prime Inc. You talk about lease programs and the bad name, the bad reputation of these lease programs. Prime Inc. is the epitome of that, because you just put you into a high payment truck, and then they treat you like a company driver, and then but then at the end of the day they don't want any responsibility. It was a horrible situation. I got out of it in 10 months, I think. I went ahead and took the truck back and said, no, I'm sorry, this is not working out. Please take the truck back. And they did. It was because it was supposed to be what they call a walk-away lease, which meant I could end the lease whenever I wanted. And that's what I did. So I went ahead and got out of that. And then after that, I think I went to Schneider, and I was a company driver for Schneider from 2010 until 2015. So for about 5 years, or 6 years if you count, each year, right? So I was a company driver with them. I liked the company. I liked the way they were run. I liked the way they were organized. I'd been kicking around for a few years the idea of leasing again, but I had such a bad experience with Prime that I was a little gun shy on it. But finally, eventually, I went ahead, and so in 2015, I went ahead and got the lease, and it was good. They're not bad. I mean, it's expensive. I mean, and it's even gotten more expensive since then. But it was zero down, no credit check. It says, boom, here you go. Now, if I were to do it again, it would be something for a low cost. It would be where I would get probably a used truck that I would finance for a lower payment, as low as I could get it. I wouldn't do the lease. It would be a purchase, and it would be a low payment, because those leases now are so expensive. Like when I got it, they would take out a weekly, like $750 a week just for the truck payment. And so that was per week, right? So that's about $3,000 a month. Now the lease payments are, and I haven't looked at it actually in a while, but a few years ago I was thinking about trading my truck in for another lease, and the trucks had gone up so much and the price has gone up so. It was like, instead of being about $3,000 a month, when I checked, this was a few years ago, it was like, I want to say it was like $4,500 a month. Outrageous. Simply outrageous. And so that's when I decided to keep my truck. So if I did it again, it would have to be either as a company driver, or I would have to like the company and just work as a company driver, which is probably what I would do. Let's say Uber goes under, and I need a job. I could be a company driver like at the snap of my fingers. Boom. Probably get a nice signing bonus. Probably get a nice brand new truck. Probably an automatic now. Almost all of them are automatics now. A lot of them are nice. They're not nicer. A lot of them are equipped with refrigerators and microwaves and with APUs. That's the auxiliary power units, I guess. So you don't have to idle the big engine so much. You can just run the little APU, and when you're parked, it's very nice, very handy. I had one of those with the Prime truck. And I could do that in a heartbeat. I could do it right now. I could pick up the phone. I could pick up this phone and say, yeah, because I get offers all the time to drive. And some of them were kind of enticing. There's some really nice signing bonuses out there. But I really think I need a break, at least a year off. I think I need to at least take a year off of truck driving. So who knows? Maybe in a year I'll be back in a truck, but I don't know. I'm just sort of playing it by ear, I guess. West Webb says it's for 40 years, full, no guarantees. No, they changed the service for subbing. Now it is Kelly Temps, and they suck. Then COVID hit. Yeah, that's stupid. Kelly Temps. West Webb says, so happy to have my pension. Don't have to do nothing I don't want. West Webb says, I always hate owing money to anybody. Yeah, me too. So anyhow, we got a heat wave coming here in Las Vegas. It's actually been pretty nice. I mean, we've just not been getting some weather up in the upper 90s. Officially, I don't think we've even hit 100 degrees officially. I know sometimes thermometers around the town, like at stores, they'll have a thermometer and it'll say 100 or 103. But officially, by the weather, by NOAA or whoever the fuck it is the official, temperature taker. I don't believe that we have hit officially 100 degrees yet, and it's been like 200 and something days since our last 100-degree day, which everyone keeps talking about because this is Las Vegas and we're in the desert and it gets hot here. But so I've been enjoying the cooler temps. But we are about ready to get a heat wave. They're saying by the weekend it's going to be 110, 112, 113. So we're getting our heat wave. We're getting our it's coming. I'm just hoping that it will not just be steady 113 degrees or sometimes we get 118. I've seen 122. I'm hoping that it won't just be all of July and all of August and into September where every single day is 110 and above. I understand this is desert. I've lived in the desert my whole life. And I understand that we get these 110-degree days and 115-degree days. But usually you'll get those for a few days and then usually it'll drop back down into like the low hundreds and maybe even into the 90s again. It'll kind of go down, give you a little bit of a break, and then you'll have another heat wave, and you get that kind of thing going on, that kind of cycle for 2 or 3 months, right? But the way it's been going lately up here, it seems like once we start getting those really hot days, it seems like it just goes on and on for like the whole rest of the summer without any break, and that's tough. That's the tough part. It's not getting the break. I understand like I say, I understand we're in the desert and we're gonna have hot days, but man, it's nice to get some relief every now and then where it drops down to from 113 to down to 103. That's a big break. I can handle 103 pretty good. 113, yeah, no, it's just and then above, of course, anything above that, it's just like nah, no. So I'm hoping that it won't just be steady, that we will get some of these kind of breaks in the next few months here. Let's see here. West Webb says, got rain over the weekend, brought the temps back down, still only 74, might hit 80, very smoky, plus air quality alert. Is that from those Canadian fires, those damn Canadians? I heard that a lot of that fire got knocked down because they got rain too. But I guess there's still some fires going on up there in Canada. How dare they, right? How dare they have their smoke billow on down to us? Those damn Canadians. West Coast fires all over the west and northwest. Yeah, I haven't really been following it. It's funny, like when I'm on the road, I was much more attentive to weather reports, trying to make sure, like, what was I getting into, and now that I'm just sort of, based here in Vegas, I just kind of pay attention to the Vegas weather. I haven't really paid too much attention. I've just heard about the fires and the smoke because it was such a big story about how it was covering so much of the sort of northeast part of the country. That was a pretty big story. So But Wes says there's fires all over the place. So. It is fire season. You know, so that's another thing. Hopefully, we'll get through with as little damage and death as possible. There's always people that die, and it's always sad and it's tragic. So, but hopefully, we'll have as little of that as possible. I was just watching this girl golfer. She was doing a putt thing. She was putting. Let's see here. What's on? I'm just trying to see what today's headlines on the news is. I forget what channel the news is on. Anyhow, so I'm just scanning through the channels real quick here. Oh, that's The Office. I love The Office. It's a pretty funny show. Well, anyhow. Okay, so I'm really surprised that so far we haven't lost the signal, right? Well, as I'm looking at my there it is. Okay, this one of my kind of gripes about this apartment is that the internet maybe at this desk right where I'm at is really a good spot or something. 'Cause, like if I'm in the room, my bedroom, or it seems like anywhere else, it's really iffy. It's really in and out. Like it'll be good and then it's bad, it's good, it's bad. So I was kind of wondering if today's live stream was going to even work, but so far as I know, it's still it hasn't stopped. So hopefully I'm not jinxing it. So fingers crossed and knock on wood, right? But maybe this area right is a good spot right here, I guess, because so far we've been going without any interruptions. Okay, so that's the deal. I sold the truck. They're picking it up today. I still haven't picked it up. I've been paying for parking at $15 a day for over there ever since I got out of the impound. It's been like, what, 3 weeks or something. So I've been paying for that. So that'll be a relief to get that out of my hair. They're supposed to be coming in today at 3. West Webb says waiting for home 5G. Wes says it is about 5 blocks away from me in 3 directions. So it's getting there. Okay, so here's CNN. I did get on CNN. They're talking about DOJ's scathing rebuke of Bureau of Prisons details failures that led to Epstein's suicide. Oh, that's right. So there was a case that were there about Epstein's suicide, and they're blaming it on one of the jailers there being negligent, I guess. I guess I'm not watching him close enough or something. That thing is so. I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but that thing is so. It says multiple failures led to Epstein's death or suicide. That's from the DOJ. It's just so convenient, right? Isn't it so convenient that he died? Kayla says, what kind of adult beverage do you like to drink? You should have one tonight after the truck is sold and record yourself celebrating, but don't be driving afterward. I know you will not. Yeah, maybe I'll toast the old truck, toast the old girl. One drink. Wes thinks that's funny. Yeah, I just yeah, maybe a beer, probably some kind of a beer. Kale says, wake us up. I need to go buy a beer so I can celebrate with you. Maybe I'll do a live stream from there. Although that would be around the time Hal's starting, so because I think they're supposed to be there at 3. Uh, but yeah, I can't drink if I'm in the car. I could just toast a sody pop. Um, Kale says, or else I will just celebrate with juice. Yeah, yeah, I might just celebrate with some Crystal Geyser water. I like that. If I'm out there, if I'm in here, I could, I could pop open a beer. I don't have any beer right now. All I have in there is sodas and water and milk and orange juice. Uh, I was gonna buy some beer. I went shopping yesterday. I was gonna buy some beer, just to stick in the fridge, and I forgot. Here's the things I forgot. Okay, I didn't get any beer, and I didn't get any shampoo. The main reason I went to the store is to get some shampoo and some shaving lotion, shaving cream, shaving lotion, shaving gel, and I didn't get any of those things. I forgot for some reason. And I ended up just getting, a bunch. I got some chicken and some bread and milk, cereal, all kind of shit. Um, and I forgot to get those 3 things were the main things that I was going to the store for. Well, especially the shampoo and the shaving cream. And then I thought, maybe I should get some, I was thinking, I'll maybe pick up some beer too, a 6-pack or something. And I didn't. I forgot. Kale says we could both drink a soda or juice. Westwest says you might not believe this. I keep forgetting to take the Outback certificate you gave me when I go to the restaurant. It is now under the visor of my car, and we are going for lunch tomorrow. Yeah, use that, Wes. Do you like the bloomin' onion? That's what everyone always talks about. I remember we used to get it. I haven't been to Outback in a long time. But I remember me and the kids and the ex used to go, and we would get the bloomin' onion as our appetizer, and then we would order whatever we would order. I'd always got like a nice steak. The steaks were good, you know. They got good steaks, and I think they have shrimp too. Don't they have shrimp, steak and shrimp or something like that? Wes says, don't keep beer in the house anymore except for guests. And Wes says, I love it. And the pumpernickel bread. Oh, yeah, the pumpernickel bread. That's right. Yeah, that's good. Slather a little butter on there, Eat your pumpernickel bread while you're waiting for them to bring the bloomin' onion, and then you eat the bloomin' onion while you're waiting for them to bring your steak. It's almost like a 3-course meal, and then if you get the dessert, it'd be a 4-course meal, I guess. Shrimp on the bobby. They say that that's not how Australians talk, but the guy who did that was Australian, right? Wasn't that Crocodile Dundee? He did those ads, those sort of tourism ads for Australia. Got another shrimp on the bobby. Or put another shrimp on the bobby. And my Australian accent is like English, I guess. So I'm a horrible Australian accent person. If Mel were here, there's a gal. What's her name? Mel. She's Australian. She could school me. She does live streams, but she's not here, and so she can't instruct me on a proper Australian accent. So it's her loss. It's her country's loss. Uh, you know, she could school me up on how to say shrimp on the bobby. Um, Westwood says, always get the filet unless something better is on special. The filet mignon? Yeah, I like filet mignon. Westwood says, Barbie is Bobby. Westwood, like a lamb. Bobby? No, that's not right. No, on the Barbie. No, Bobby. Put another shrimp on the. Put another shrimp on the Bobby. Okay, look, they're talking about wildfire smoke blankets parts of the Great Lakes region. And it looks like this is like Chicago, but which is right off of what, Lake Erie or whatever it is. Yeah, it's Chicago. Chicago's all smoky from the fires, and they just can't believe it. They're just amazed that the smoke, floats and goes with the wind currents. It's just a phenomenon. Yeah, it looks just like LA on a typical Tuesday with the haze. West says 70 miles from me. West Web says 8 years ago it was the same. Red skies at night. Red skies at night. What was that song? Who did that song? Like Red Rider or something? No, who was it? That wouldn't make sense. Red Rider doing Red Skies at Night. But. Although, In a Big Country did a song called In a Big Country, I think, right? Which I thought was hilarious. No. I don't know. What do I know? KO's our music guy. Boom, boom. KO is our music guy. He's our space guy. He's our computer guy, expert. And now he's gone. Westweb says, old sailor proverb: red skies at night, sailors delight; red skies at morning, sailors take warning. Oh yes, I do recall that. I do recall that old adage. Or proverb, I don't know. Take your pick. Proverb, adage, whatevs. Whatever. So let's see, what's been going on? I've been Ubering. I just completed over 1,750 rides, and that's me just doing it kind of half-assed. Like last night, I was sort of taking the day off, but I knew I wanted to charge I wanted to go to the charger and charge the car up. And I always like to do it after midnight because the rates drop so dramatically that it's just worth it to go after midnight. Because I could fill the thing up for less than $5. So I thought, well, maybe I'll go and Uber for an hour. So I did an hour last night. So that's, that's just to illustrate that some days I don't even Uber at all. Some days doing an hour. I don't think I've ever done just an hour before. I usually do at least 3 or 4 hours. And then on my big days, which is usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because that's the big, it's the weekend and a lot of people are here. I'll usually do 7, 8 at the most. I don't know if I've ever gone over 8 hours. It's usually 6 or 7 hours. So that's just me doing, 6 or 7 hours here or there, 3 or 4 hours here or there. Like last night, I only did 1 hour, and I've still managed to get 1,750 rides in. I'm a diamond driver, diamond rating. So I got that going for me. Westweb says, cool, $5. $5. Oh yeah, to charge it up. Yeah. Last night, it was down to about 34% state of charge. I took it up to 100, and it was like $4.60, I think, something like that. So, let's say if I did it right now, here it is, 11 a.m. It would probably be like $13, which is still a lot cheaper than, let's say, filling your car up, right? That would be the equivalent, I think, of, let's say you're like at a quarter of a tank, or in that situation it'd be like a third of a tank, right? And you filled it up. Like how much would that cost you? I mean, how many gallons is 2/3 of whatever your tank is? You do the math, because everyone has different gallons. I don't know. So however many gallons that is, multiply it whatever the gas price is in your neck of the woods, and that's how much it would cost you to fill up. Let's say you were at somewhere between a quarter and a third, and you fill it up. How much would that cost you in gas? Now here, gas is like about $4.20 a gallon. Sometimes I did see some $3.99s the other day, I think, or $3.90 something. I think it's pretty much still over $4. In Illinois or whatever, I don't know what you guys are paying for, but you can just do the simple math. Let's say to do that would be, for most people, at least 10 gallons. Let's say that's at least 10 gallons, probably even more, right? To do 2/3 of your tank, 10, 12 gallons maybe. But let's just say, keep it easy, 10 gallons times, if it's $4, that's $40. Okay, so like I'm saying, for me to do the Tesla right now at these daytime prices, it would be at the most 13. Sometimes it's even cheaper. Some 11, $12, $13. So yeah, that's just comparison. A little bit of comparison there. Westwood says, we have old folks villages that have free charging stations included for guests. That's cool. Westwood, do you have an adapter to charge non-Tesla stations? You know what? I think it does. Because I know in the trunk there's a little bag, and I did kind of just unzip it because it has a cord. It has the plug-in cord, so where I could plug into an outlet, like a regular outlet. And I don't know. I didn't really look enough to see if there were any adapters in there or not, so I'm not sure. But it would seem to me that they would be. But you know what happens when you assume? You make an ass out of you and me. So I don't know. I guess the answer is I don't know if they do or not. But I guess you could, if they don't, I mean, I'm sure, I think you could order them or something. But I would need that, because there is an apartment that I'm thinking about going to. It's a 62 plus apartment, when I'm 62 plus, and they do have EV chargers there on site in their parking lot. They had a few of them, like in front of each building. There was like I think there's 5 buildings, and each building had, I think, at least one, maybe 2, because they were kind of spaced out, the chargers. And I didn't really look at. I just saw that they were there, and they're not Tesla chargers, so I'm pretty sure I would need some sort of adapter to use that. Anyhow. Wes says, I have a millionaire friend who has a Prius plug-in. Will charge out of the hotel window. Yeah, that works good. I guess you have to always ask for a first floor room, which isn't always available. Like here where I'm at, this is a 3-story building, and they don't have any elevators. And when I went to get the room, before I got the room, they said, we have this one room, it's on the 3rd floor, do you want to go look at it? I was like, okay, I'll go look at it. So I looked at it, and I had to walk up. Basically, it's 2 flights of stairs, right? It's not 3 flights of stairs, but it's 2 flights of stairs, because you got the ground level, then the first flight goes to the 2nd level, the second flight goes to the 3rd level, right? And I was walking up it, and my knees are all right. I mean, I don't know. It's just I made it up okay. I was fine, but I was just like, I just don't see myself walking up these two flights of stairs like every day, multiple times a day. And I did ask if they had a lower floor, and at the time they said we've got some second floor ones, but they're not available right now. Um, they might be available later on. So in the meantime, I was like, okay, I'll go look at the third floor one. So I went and looked at it, and when I came back, by the time I came back, because I said, yeah, I like that, but do you have anything lower? Did anything open up? And they did. And then I went and looked, got this one. This is the second level, and I said I would prefer the first level. Apparently, those are really in demand and really hard to get because she said they don't have any, and you just have to, I guess, keep checking back to see if there's anybody who leaves or whatever. So I haven't really checked with them since, but if a first level one opens up, and I'm gonna stay here for, I don't know, I might be here for, who knows. I don't want to be here too long. I want to get an apartment. See, that's the thing. I'm also thinking like, do I want an apartment? Do I want to try to get a condo or a townhouse? Do I want to try to buy something instead of renting? I don't know, man. I still don't. I can't. It's hard to decide what I want to do. I'm kind of perplexed on that. But I gotta make a decision this week. Like I think sometime. Like what am I gonna do? Am I gonna just? And I think I'm kind of leaning towards just getting an apartment and signing a year lease, and just that way I'll be locked in for a year, and I'll have a whole year to just think about what I want to do. Even if I'm gonna, who knows? I might go back to truck driving back then, by then, and I don't really want to be in an apartment. See, that's the thing. Basically, for the last 10 years, 10 at least 10 years, I've pretty much been living in that truck. I had that truck for 8 years, and before that, I had company trucks. I've been pretty much living in a truck for like the last decade. Because I was on the road so much, and then when I would come home for maybe 2 nights, maybe 3 at the most, and then I would be back on the road for 2 months. 6, 7, 8 weeks. So this is kind of a transitional period here. I mean, going back out of being this sort of transient person living in a truck to living in having like this sort of permanent, you know, place that I call home. So it is kind of a big deal for me, I guess, and trying to decide what I want to do. Wes says, I would like a much smaller house with modern mechanicals and an electric vehicle. Yeah, I know. Me too. Yeah. So in the meantime, I think I'm just gonna get an apartment or something, and then because I feel like I'm always moving around. It's hard to do stuff when you're just always going from place to place to place to place to place. I need to just settle down and for a while and be able to just think about what I want to do and weigh everything out and have some sort of plan. So I guess in the short term, the plan is just to you know lock down housing or whatever for let's say a year. I mean, and almost everything is leases. They almost none of them go month to month. Like this is a different deal. This is like one of those hotels that does they do weekly and monthlies here. Um, but if you're going to get like a regular apartment, almost everything is either like most places are like I think 9 month lease and 12 month lease. I did see one that had like a whole bunch of different lease periods, but most of them are like I think it's like 9 months and 12 months. It seems to be the common. So I guess I don't have to do a 12-month. But then they do, for the longer you go, they sort of, take a little off the rent. But yeah, I guess so. My in the short term, what I'll do is get an apartment, probably get a year lease, and I'll just really be able to hunker down, settle down, and decide, okay, this is I'm gonna try to buy a little place, or or maybe I'll just keep renting. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. But this is the sort of like post truck era of Trucker John. And you know what? I'm not going to change my name. I've been thinking, should I change my YouTube name to like Uber John? And I kind of figure, as long as I have my CDL, I'm still Trucker John. So I think I'll just stay Trucker John. You know, that's what I'm thinking. We'll just keep it at Trucker John. Trucker John. I'm just looking at CNN. It says Russia strikes Kramatorsk City Center. Man, I wish Prigozhin would have just kept marching. I wish he would have just kept going all the way to Moscow. That motherfucker. So this Russia strike hit the restaurant. See, I hate fucking Putin, man. God, I hate that motherfucker. It's so unnecessary. This is all just Putin being a fucking pussy and just on a power trip. The motherfucker is a sick, evil, twisted motherfucking asshole. I wish Prigozhin would have just kept on going. I don't care, you know, if he would have, probably wouldn't have succeeded. They would have, eventually Russia would have, fucking nuked his ass or whatever. But man, it would have been nice if they could have just rolled into Moscow and started bombing the Kremlin or something. But he pussed out. Fucking Prigozhin pussed out, and he took a fucking deal he's gonna end up getting poisoned or something anyhow. Um, Wes says you don't need a truck to have a CDL. I didn't say I need a truck to have a CDL. I have a CDL. My CDL is good for 4 more years. Wes says lots more people would have been hurt, and the Wagners would have been slaughtered. I don't give a fuck. Good, slaughter them all. They should have kept going. Wes says Wagner family member were being threatened. Again, I don't give a shit. It says Belarusian president describes talks with Wagner group chief to end mercenaries' march to Moscow. Wagner fighters hand over equipment. I say let them all kill each other off, man. Let them kill each other. Let them crumble. Let fucking Russia crumble into the fucking dustbins of history, as far as I'm concerned. Their wives and kids. Well, you know what, man? They made their bed. Now they got to sleep in it. You want to go around and be mercenaries, and you want to go around and fuck people up and murder Those guys have murdered many women and children, so maybe that's a little bit of karma coming back at them. You know, karma's a bitch. Karma's a real fucking bitch. It says West they could take their families and move to Belarus or further west. Yeah, and live happily ever after. After all the pregnant women that they've eviscerated, that they've sliced open. Fuck those assholes. I'm just saying, if they were going to go down, they should have just went down swinging. Yeah, I hope Zelensky gets all the shit he needs, and I hope he just fucks them up. I hope he just fucks up Russia. Just fuck them up beyond all recognition. Just foobar those motherfuckers. They need to foobar Russia. Fuck Russia. I have a video from about almost 10 years ago that the name of it is Fuck Russia, right? Or, no, it's Russia Sucks. Oh, I should do a sequel called Fuck Russia. No, yeah, I have a video called Russia Sucks. So this isn't just a new thing for me. I have not liked Russia for a long, long time. Probably my whole life. Probably going back to the Bay of Pigs when I was like 2 years old. So it's ingrained in me. This shit's ingrained in me. Okay? This didn't just happen overnight where I don't like Russia. This is a lifelong thing. You know? So, fuck Russia, fuck Putin, go Zelensky, Slava Ukraini, fuck those motherfuckers up. Fuck Russia up. West Web says, several are cooks and drivers and maintenance workers for equipment, not just soldiers. Well, you know, they're still a part of it. I'm not going to cut any of them any slack. They're feeding the fuckers. They're keeping them, healthy and strong so they can go out and murder people. So fuck them too. West West, that's the way we were raised. What, to hate Russia? No, I watched the news and I saw what fucking assholes they are. They've been our enemy for a long, long time. The Cold War was still a war. It might have been cold, but it was a war. It was always, Russia was sort of out in the forefront, and China was always seen as the sleeping dog, or whatever, you know. Fuck them too. And I'm just talking about, as far as China, I'm talking about, the government. As far as Russia, I'm talking mainly about their leaders and their government. But they do seem to be a really fucked up kind of mentality. A lot of them. Remember Pussy Riot? That girl rock band, punk rock band, or whatever they were? They tried to come out and expose Russia, and they ended up getting fucked up. Haven't heard much from them since, right? It's hard to get the word out in Russia. They're very controlling. Very controlling, and they keep a lot of their people in the dark. A lot of these people think that Ukraine are the aggressors. They think that Ukraine are the ones that started the war because of this propaganda, this fucking Putin propaganda bullshit. I just keep looking at my hair sticking out. I don't like it. I need to get a haircut. Navalny. It would be great if Navalny could get into leadership. I don't see that happening. I mean, if Putin goes down one way or the other, whether he's assassinated, which would be great, whether he's put in exile, whether he steps down and to avoid those things, whatever. Then they replace him. I don't see them replacing him with Navalny. Uh, but it would be great. They could release him from prison before he gets so fucked up that he's not worth a shit. And by worth a shit, I mean that he's so incapacitated physically that he's not going to be able to be president or whatever. Who knows what's going on in these prisons? They fuck people up in there, man, really bad. And sometimes they don't even survive it, right? So, yeah, but they need better leadership. That's for sure. It's like these last 20 years of Putin has been a waste. That was 20 years where they could have been, because when the old USSR fell, and there was this sort of vacuum, there was lots of things going on. There was lots of Russian mafia and mob that was running things. There was this kind of mob state, but if Putin had been a good leader, he could have used these last 20 years to transition out of that. Instead, he is that. He's the leader of that. He's the mobster. But if he hadn't been, then just think these 20 years, they could have been evolving more and more into a democratic society where they have legitimate capitalism, but they still they could do all the things that we would have hoped that they would do, as far as having like free and fair elections, and electing solid people that weren't on the take, people that weren't just being bought off, or just oligarchs running things, and so it's this real shame. It's a real shame that these Putin has been in power for 20 years and has just been running it like a mob boss. And it's not cool. Mob boss maybe sounds like some sort of cool thing. It's not cool. It's horrible. It's horrible for the country. It's horrible for the Russian people. And now we're saying it's really horrible for the world. So Putin needs to be taken down. He needs to be taken out one way or the other, and just hope to God that they can get someone in there who's decent, who's not worse. And yeah, Navalny would be great, but West says Ukrainian oligarchs are Russian or Jewish. Rumors at the beginning of the war as to what buildings were being destroyed. Many were old. At the beginning of the war, you know what buildings were being destroyed? Maternity wards, kindergartens, schools, apartment buildings where civilians lived. That's what was being destroyed. Because Putin didn't give a fuck. He didn't give a flying fuck. That's why, a lot of times I think, I think that there is no afterlife. There is no heaven. There is no hell. But man, it would be great if there was a hell, so that Putin, when he dies, can go there, and that he can be placed in a really specially horrible place for all eternity, because that's what he deserves. He just deserves torment for eternity, agonizingly painful torment for all eternity. That's what fucking Putin deserves. No one's going to change my mind on that. West Web says hospitals um, containing, I guess, the war wounded, including soldiers, off limits by the Geneva Convention, but targets nonetheless. Yeah, yeah. Putin is clearly a war criminal. He better not ever set foot out of Russia. I mean, because he should be arrested for sure, tried, convicted. They should hang him just like they did the Nazis after World War II. They should just take him out and hang him. Wes says lots of that was Wagner. Yeah, and I don't like Wagner. I'm just saying, I wish they would have kept going and they just kept killing each other. But according to Philip Ittner and other people, it is a big blow to the image of Putin and the government, their central government's strength. This is a big chip in the armor there, a big, you know, show of weakness. And we'll see how it plays out, I guess. But I just wish it would have been a big, giant, messy civil war or something. But like you say, I mean, you said that they would have been obliterated or whatever. Maybe it would have just been in a couple days or something. They would have been slaughtered. But still, I mean, I could have used a few more days of that, of them just fighting each other. But I guess what it was just Prigozhin trying to save his. He probably saw that this would be, maybe he would get some type of offer, you know, safe passage. I don't know how safe he's going to be in Belarus, but probably safer than being in Russia. So. West says it is still a standoff. They are posturing. West says there are NATO troops all along the white Russian border. Yeah. Imagine there are. I imagine that they are. West says Wagner can surrender to NATO. See, the deal from Belarus, from was it Lushenko or whatever his fucking name is? That thing, it keeps going back and forth. But originally, wasn't it where Prigozhin could go there, and all of the Wagner soldiers that participated in this rebellion or whatever they were calling it could go there too and not face charges, and everything would be honky dory. But then Putin comes out, and at first he was saying, "Yeah, we'll do that." Then he's condemning them and saying he's going to punish all of them. So I don't know. They keep going back and forth. If they surrender to NATO, is NATO going to charge any of those guys with war crimes or what? Lubchenko is a puppet. Yeah, well, he is. He's Putin's puppet. Just like Trump is pooping puppet. He's a pooping puppet. Trump is Putin's puppet also. Even though he's like, I'm no puppet. I'm no puppet. Yes, you are a puppet. Donald Trump, you're a puppet. You're Putin's puppet. Donald Trump, you are Putin's little bitch. And I cannot wait for you to get convicted, because you will. You're going to go down, motherfucker. And I can't wait till they fucking cuff your ass, throw you in some sort of holding cell, even if it's just for a day. You're going to be crying your little ass off, your little pussy ass bitch ass off. God, you know, ugh. And the thing is, I have family members and stuff who think that Trump is such a great person and a great president, and that this is all the Democrats and the liberal media all coming after him. No, bullshit. Trump is a fucking crook. He's a disgusting human being, and he's been a Russian asset for decades. He's a traitor. You have him on tape. There's recordings of him talking about having this classified documentation. What more do you need? I mean, it wasn't enough when they had video recordings of him talking about how he would assault women because he's a celebrity. Now you've got video recordings of him clearly being in possession of top secret, classified materials and showing it to other people. Okay. And then they try to equate that with Obama or Clinton taking records and things that was completely vetted. They went through the proper procedures and they followed all the regulations. There's no comparison. Trump is a fucking crook. So on CNN, they're saying Putin praises the Russian military for stopping civil war. Anyhow, West says Trump is toast. We need to stop thinking about him and let the courts take over. No, we don't need to stop thinking about him. West says he is always trying to impress people with how rich and powerful he is. He's a moron. Trump is such a fucking moron. If he didn't have whatever money he has and has had in his life, he would not have one single friend, because he's one of those guys that everyone avoids because he's such a fucking moron. No one would want to hang out with him. No one would want to go shoot pool with him and have a beer with him. No one would want to do anything with him because he's a fucking moron and he's disgusting. He's a disgusting human being. And if it wasn't for the fact that he was born into a rich family and that basically has all these hanger-ons and sycophants, that's all he has. That's all he's ever had. This is people that he could buy. And he's gross and disgusting, and the people who follow him, these maggots, they're stupid. They're just stupid. And there's a lot of smart people too, but they're stupid. West says that is usually a sign that you are not that powerful. Well, I mean, he's whatever power he's had, it's just because of the money. Money is power, and that's it. Just because he's got his money, he's gotten some power at whatever little level he's been at. It's opened doors for him, and so then he confuses that with thinking that, oh, I'm a mover and a shaker, man. But he's a failure. He's always been a failure. He's filed bankruptcy so many times. He's been sued over 4,000 times. He's a louse. I would call him a louse. West says he was the most powerful man on earth and totally abused it. He held the highest position. Yes. The office of the presidency of the United States is, I guess, arguably the most powerful position in the world. And I guess you could say Putin and Xi Jinping, whatever the guy's name is there. You know, you could put them up there too, but the United States definitely number one. So he just saw that as his way to what, pay his debt to Putin. Who would you rather be? What do you mean? Who would I rather be? Trump or me? I'd rather be me. Now, would I like to have Trump's money and be me? Yeah. Read up. Well, it says he was the most powerful man on earth and totally abused it. I know you're talking about Trump. Well, I don't know. Trump is toast. So. You say, who would I rather be? Like I said, are the choices between me and Trump? I'd rather be me. Because I'm not a fucking. Look, I'm not perfect, and I can be an asshole, but I'm not that kind of an asshole. I'm not out to just trample on people. You know, I'm not out to just, rip off people, abuse people. I'm not into any of that. I'm not on a power trip. And if I know money changes people. It says, what's this level? You are not understanding. No, I'm not understanding. Maybe you should write better. Because you're talking about Trump, so I don't know. Would I rather be the most powerful man on earth? Or an Uber driver? Is that the choice? Would you rather be POTUS or some other ruler? I don't know. I don't even think about that. Of course, I'd rather be POTUS because I'm an American. No, out of the three, of course, I'd rather be POTUS. You know, I'm born in America. And so, I don't know. Wes says, that is all I was trying to say. All right. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. I'd rather be POTUS, of course. But you took it very personally. No, I did not take it personally. I was just saying I thought the choice was between whether would I rather be Trump or me, and I would rather be me. If it's would I rather be POTUS or would I rather be a czar or president of China, I would rather be POTUS, of course. But I just think that whoever we get, like right now, I think we have a really good guy. I think Joe Biden's a really good guy. And I find it very disturbing that people want to just keep making fun of his age, making fun of him that he falls. Hey, look, the other day, I'm 62 years old. The other day I fell. I stepped on a little rock. It was about that big, probably. And my arms were full. I had like a bag in one hand. I had a cup of soda in the other hand. And I was walking across the parking lot, and I didn't see this little like rock or whatever it was. Like literally, it was like that big, probably about that big. And I stepped on it. My ankle just like rolled, and I went down. right there for the whole world to see. I fell flat on my face. And I do that with some regularity. I would say about once a year, maybe, or maybe once every couple of years. I fall, and it's usually because I stepped in a little crack or a little, pothole or a little like that. It was a rock that I didn't see, and I've been doing that my whole life, really, of me falling. And as I'm getting older, it's a little scarier because your bones are more brittle and you don't get up quite as quick as you used to. So, I mean, am I the only one? Is it just me and Joe that fall? Are we the only fallers? Me and Joe Biden? Everybody falls, right? Everybody trips. Everybody falls. But when you're the president, of course, you've got a million cameras on you and they record everything you do. And so every time Joe Biden falls, they want to say it's because he's old and decrepit and senile and all this kind of crap. And I find it disturbing that people are really buying into that shit. And they can't look at the fact that what he's been doing he's gotten us out of out of COVID really well. Our inflation rate was way lower than the rest of the world's. He's been creating more jobs than any president in the history of the United States, basically. Our unemployment is the lowest it's ever been. Wages are up. There's all these kind of good things, blah, 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 but they just want to talk about that he fell. He fell on his bike, or he fell in the steps of the Air Force One, or whatever, and that just is so disturbing, so distressing, because we all fall. I fall. I just fell the other day, and I'm 62 years old. We all fall, and we all know that Donald Trump has been wearing a diaper for 20 years, and he just sits there because he's incontinent or whatever. He shits his pants because he's a fucking, speed freak. He's been snorting, Adderall and all that kind of shit. The guy's a mess. He's a fucking total fucking mess. His brain is turning to mush. His brain, see, it's all projection. Trump's brain is turning to mush. Trump is the one that is losing it. So they want to project that onto Joe because he fell down. Fuck you. Fuck all you. Now, Wes says buffering. So maybe we're finally, the signal's maybe going out. Wes says, I stubbed my little left toe. I stubbed my little, he didn't sub it. He stubbed it. My little left toes on a fan 2 weeks ago. I am still limping a little. And a fan is kind of like scary because you get your toes chopped off. Wes says, I keep a cane in my car. Wes says, they are mean and evil, and we should not pay attention to mean and evil. I know, but it's hard to, especially when my own daughter, the fruit of my loins, has been saying shit about Biden, and that I guess that disturbs me because I'm like, Jaylee, come on, don't buy that shit. Don't listen to this Fox News MAGA bullshit. I mean, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. It's just all projection because the guy that they want is totally incapacitated, I think, as far as his brain, is everything. He's a mess. Trump is he's definitely in decline. Definitely, positively, he is in total decline, and they want to project that onto Biden because they don't want people to think of Trump as being that way. So, but he is. Trump is he's a mess, total mess, and I don't want to get too confident, but I about the election, let's say the 2024 election, but I can't really see, the people that voted for Biden all of a sudden switching back to, say, Trump or or switching to Trump, not back to Trump, but or even a third party. Not too many, at least not enough to make a difference in the election. I really can't see that. Now I might be wrong, but I mean, if everybody just votes again that voted in the last one, then Biden should win it pretty handily. I don't know. I don't know if you voted for Biden in 2020. I don't know what would make you not vote for him in 2024. You know, unless you somehow believe the bullshit that the right is trying to put out there. But I mean, you just got to look around and see that things are definitely improving and better under Biden than they were under Trump. So I feel pretty good about our chances about 2024. Wes Webb says Metal Box fan, and Wes says, I wish Uncle Joe didn't have to run again. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he's doing such a good job. Let him. I mean, I don't know. I think he's in pretty good shape. I mean, yeah, he falls down every now and then, but like I said, I fell down. Trump can't even walk down a ramp without somebody holding his arm, you know? Trump is totally fucked up. So, I mean, I like the direction that Biden has been putting us in. So I kind of hate to see a change midstream. Remember when George W. Bush was running, and they were like, "Don't want to change during midstream. You don't want to change horses midstream." That was his big thing, you know, like, you got to reelect me because you don't want to change a horse midstream. And I was like, yeah, you do. If your horse is fucking drowning, you might want to change horses. Unfortunately, you know, they swift boated Kerry. And, you know, I don't want to go back into that. Let's not go back into that. But anyhow, I think that, I mean, yeah, if Kamala Harris, let's say if she became president, or if some other one, I think Gavin Newsom is going to be at some point, probably 2028, you know, a candidate. Whoever it is, I mean, I would think they would continue a lot of the Biden policies and hopefully be a bit on the progressive side. I'm not saying that they're going to be total Bernie Sanders, AOC progressives, but they are definitely leaning more progressive, and that's a good thing. And that doesn't have to be full bore, you know. Doesn't have to be a, you know, my way or the highway. But the being an incumbent usually is, unless you're totally horrible like Trump was, or you get totally fucked over like Jimmy Carter did with Iran-Contra, then, you know, the incumbent has a really huge advantage as far as getting reelected. So I would hope that, I guess I wouldn't want to see a new primary with all these other candidates right now. I'd rather just see Joe go ahead, get reelected, and continue his policies of, you know, building back better, you know, of low unemployment, higher wages, more jobs being created, more jobs being brought back to America, manufacturing being brought back to America, weaning us off of fossil fuels, getting more and more on board with renewables and with electric cars. I think that's all great. That's all great stuff. Getting and really working on getting at least a Medicare for All option, public option, lowering maybe Social Security down to 60 or 55, or Medicare down to 55, and bringing it up to 25. Let's shrink that down. I think those are all things that can continue under Joe Biden. And if we get if say if he doesn't run, and then we got to pick from another batch of Democrats, it just seems like we're kind of you know slowing things down a little bit. Wes says, I couldn't believe that he won in the first place. During the primaries, Joe Biden was not my first choice, actually. At first, he was like my eighth choice. I mean, of course, I liked Elizabeth Warren, number one, Bernie Sanders, number two, and then I think I liked Harris, maybe third. After that, I didn't really care. Uh, I mean, they were all good, but I didn't see them as being presidential. I didn't see Buttigieg really, or Klobuchar, or what was the other one? Forget all the names, but I mean, they're all good Democrats, but I kind of put Joe down as like an afterthought or whatever. But then I was pleasantly surprised when he won, and of course, when he won the nomination, I was fully on board. I'm gonna back the Democratic nominee, you know, always because I'm a registered Democrat. Why would I not? West Webb says Kerry is no hero. Um, I I don't want to go back into the past about Kerry. My beef with Kerry, because I think as far as Democratic policies, he's right in line with the platform, the party platform. He says all the right stuff on that, but he's boring as fuck. And even me, a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat, and who I voted for him, I couldn't listen to the guy more than 5 minutes because he would put me to fucking sleep. He was a great cure for insomnia. The guy, there is a lot to be said about, I don't know, charisma and being able to speak and hold people's attention and all that kind of shit. Kerry was not one of those. He could not answer a question without going to some long, drawn out, fucking boring as shit thing. And to me, that was the downfall. But of course, it was the swift boating that really did him in. Wes says exactly. W won the second time for real. Yeah, the second time he did win. The first time was he lost Florida, as we all know, and Al Gore should have been president. Wes says, "Oh my, you are a liberal." Laughing out loud. Yeah, whatever. West says the Build Back Better ideals are a little more moderate than that. And West says he nursed the black vote, always has. Hey man, you got to get elected, right? And he knows what to do. I mean, the guy, he did it. He did it right. And I think he learned a lot from Hillary's failure. I think he did have a 50-state, plan. And he hit all the areas, man. Ugh. Let me get a water. I'm feeling a little dehydrated. I mean, look, like I said, at first, I was a big Elizabeth Warren supporter. In 2016, I was a big Bernie Sanders supporter, but when Hillary won the nomination, I was only more than happy to vote for Hillary. When Joe Biden won the nomination, I was only more than happy to vote for Joe Biden. And let's just say Pete Buttigieg won the nomination. I would have been more than happy to vote for Pete Buttigieg. Whether the mayor his only really political experience at that time was being a mayor of a small town in Illinois or whatever. That was still, well, number one, he's a Democrat. He says all the right things, backs all pretty much. We would probably be in agreement of 90% of whatever his policies are. I would probably we'd be in agreement 90% of the time, probably, give or take a few points here or there. And I'm a dyed-in-the-wool, lifelong Democrat, so I'm not going to vote against my party. So, I mean, people can criticize him for only being a mayor of a small town, but what, Trump, who has had no political office, he's just been this asshole supposed billionaire, who goes around assaulting women. He got elected, so you can't say that like a mayor of a small town isn't qualified when you elect someone like a Donald Trump. I mean, at least Ronald Reagan was a governor of California, which and see who else do we have? I mean, all the other ones. George W. Bush was governor of Texas, right? So, I mean, at least they had something, right? They were horrible, but at least they had some sort of experience. There was some. Donald Trump had no experience, so now you can't say that a Pete Buttigieg is not qualified. If you're especially if you voted for Donald Trump or you support Donald Trump or whatever. But I was only too happy to vote for Joe Biden, and so whoever wins, let's say 2024, I'm hoping that it's Joe Biden, and I think he's completely capable of running and of serving out his term. I have, and I have no hesitations or whatever or reservations about if Kamala Harris has to take over. I think she's completely 100% capable, and so if Joe Biden were to become incapacitated for whatever reason, if he dies or goes into a coma or whatever, I have no reservations about Kamala taking over. So I don't think we should worry about Joe Biden if he runs or not. Ideally, I would like him to run and win a second term, continue on with his policies, get more and more done in terms of, like I said, all those programs we were talking about. And then in 2028, I would like to see Gavin Newsom. I think Gavin Newsom is like a young Joe Biden. And so it would be nice to have him, Gavin Newsom, because by 2028, what is Newsom? Is Newsom in his 50s now, I guess, right? So he's going to be a young guy. We don't have to worry about, if he has dementia. We don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. He's going to be young enough. He's going to be like a Bill Clinton or whatever. And, I mean, he'll be a little bit older than Clinton was by then. But, and hopefully, yeah, I mean, and that's, Bill Clinton might be a bad example because, I mean, Clinton was a good president, I think, did some good stuff, but he did some shitty stuff too. I mean, he kind of kowtowed to the Republicans a little too much for my liking. And of course, getting blowjobs in the Oval Office, I mean, may not have been the best. Well, it's probably a good stress reliever. I can kind of see that, but when you get busted for it, it's not a good look. And you have Republicans who are they're out banging whores and shit, but Clinton can't get a blowjob, I guess. But anyhow, that's a whole different issue. The thing is, and so I would like to see Biden do this next term, get 2 terms, and then I would like to see Gavin Newsom run and win. Now that's not a slight on Kamala Harris. I like Kamala. I think she's great. She's probably going to run too. So we'll see. Just let him run. That at that point in 2028, let him run, because Biden will be termed out, and then you got to have a primary. Why have the primary now in 2024 when we can wait we could put that off because primaries are kind of hairy, can be hairy. So why not wait till 2028? Let them run and let them fight it out. Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Buttigieg might run again. I don't know if Warren's going to run again by then. She might not. Probably not. Because she's no spring chicken either. And I love her. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe AOC will run by then. I don't know. And I love AOC. I just think AOC. I don't know. I would like to see Newsom. I would like to see Newsom now in 2028. And then, because AOC is so young, she's got plenty of time. Because I think she's great. And maybe by the time she does run, let's say, so 28, 32, 36, maybe in 2036, right? If I'm doing my math right, which is about, 13 years from now? What is AOC? Is she 34 now? Whatever she is, so 44, 40, 47. I mean, she won't even be 50 yet. So there's plenty of time for AOC. And maybe the country in 2036 will be a lot more willing or acceptable for more of a progressive person like that. Hopefully we'll be going in that direction, and we won't be going the other direction where the country just wants authoritarianism and a dictator like Trump. Hopefully we can keep the ball rolling where we're getting more and more progressive, and in 2036 an AOC would have a viable, really good chance of getting the White House. Not now. I don't think she could do it now. I know when she first got elected to the House a few years ago, everyone's like, AOC for president, AOC for president. Well, I love her. She's great, but no, it's not the time. It's not her time. Maybe in 2036. I know I'm going way out, but a lot of things could change between now and then. But in the short term, yeah, I think we should keep Biden. I think Biden should run in 2024, and he can keep the ball rolling. 2028, it's going to be up for grabs. Could be Harris, could be Newsom, could be some other name that we don't know about yet. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, so let's see. We got West Webb's been chatting his old chatter today. West Webb says West Webb says he was a privileged Yale military brat. He served in Vietnam. I guess we're talking about Kerry now. And was slightly injured a few times. Purple Hearts should not be for scratches. Okay, I don't care about Kerry. I mean, we were talking to him a little bit. I was just saying how boring he was. I don't know about his military record, whatever. They gave him the Purple Heart. He was there. Hey, look, I was a few years away from being drafted when the war ended. But I remember being about, 12, 13 years old, and the war had been going on my whole life at that point. And I was pretty sure that when I turned 18, I was going to get drafted and go to... So I was still like 5 years away, but to me, I thought the war was never going to end. And I was seriously thinking about, okay, do I want to go to Mexico or do I want to go to Canada? Because I'm not going to fucking Vietnam. Because it was, the way I had seen it from the news and everything, it was a fucking meat grinder. And I wasn't going to go into it. And it would seem like a stupid war. It wasn't I was always like, why the fuck are we there? I mean, I understand it's a civil war, whatever. I was like, why are we fighting their civil war? Why can't they fight their own civil war? That was my thinking. As a fucking boy. As an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old boy. Okay? And I was like, I'm not going to go and get myself either killed or lose limbs and be in a wheelchair or whatever to fight for their fucking civil war. Let them fight it out. If we want to give them bombs and weapons and shit like that, fine, like we're doing to Ukraine. But why do we gotta go fight it? That was my fault. That was my feeling back then as a 9-year-old. And as I was like 12, 13, almost 14 years old, I'm getting closer and closer to the draft age. And I was like, okay, it's either Mexico or Canada. I'm fucking hightailing it out. When I turn 18, I'm not going to Vietnam. Fuck Vietnam. Fortunately, there were a lot of other people that felt like I did, and they were protesting the war. And it came to such a head, especially after Kent State and everything, Nixon finally was like, I gotta pull out because I'm gonna lose the election if I don't. So finally, we got out of there. Um, but John Kerry was there, and he was in that shit. And I'm not gonna fucking put him down or say his injuries weren't good enough or whatever. He was there, and he was in the fucking in the shit. So I'm not gonna fucking put him down for that. I will put him down for being boring though. So let's see here. I'm just catching up on the chat. Wes is saying whoever handled I-95 was a genius. Pete can take at least a little credit. Yeah. Wes says I was born a poor Republican child. Wes says sorry, I don't subscribe to much of what you were saying. Pies do not belong in the sky. Whatever. Wes says we got the infrastructure. That was a near miracle. Wes says we got parts of the Build Back plan. Wes says we saved Medicare and Social Security. I think that America deserves a pat on the back. Hey, Bill Deacon, it was a body count. Are you talking about Vietnam War? KO says, I'm still here even though I am not interacting, so it still counts on me as a viewer. Have a great day, Johnny. And all. Are you leaving, KO? Are you leaving? Thanks for being here. It has been over 2 hours. I might sign off pretty soon. But thanks, KO, for lurking. And either way, whether you're lurking or whether you're chatting, it's always great to have you here. Wes says exactly. I signed up for the draft, but did not have a draft in 1975. Yeah, I signed up for this is called selective service as soon as I was 18, right? I have flat feet, so they might not have taken me. But I way later, like when I was like 20 or 21, I almost was because I couldn't find work. Reagan was president. The economy was shit. I couldn't find work. I was going to school, and then I was out of school, and then I was going to school, and then I was out of school for a while for college, and then I was thinking about joining the Navy. I was thinking about joining the Army. Now they were definitely going to take me, but I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have passed the physical because of my flat feet. I don't know because I never did go all the way. I decided not to do it. I just couldn't see myself being in the military, even though it was tempting just because I wanted a job, I guess. Bill Bacon says, yes, Nam was a body count. Well, we lost over 50,000 just us. Of course, Vietnamese and Cambodians, it was in the millions, right? I think. It was a bloody, bloody thing, but still, I don't think we should have been boots on the ground. Our boots should not have been on the ground. If we wanted to we wanted to help them out with weaponry and equipment, and have advisors and shit like that, that's fine. But we didn't need to be drafting people and sending them into that meat grinder. It was stupid. West says, I thought you were already gone, Ken. West says the war was pretty much over except for fishing the boat hooks out of the sea and finding those folks who really supported the U.S. military. Wes says, I looked into joining the Singing Sergeants. Yeah, that would have been perfect for you. That would have been perfect. So anyhow, yeah, I mean, I grew up, I was born in 1960. We were in Vietnam just right after that. Kennedy was sending over, I guess, advisors in what, 62. And then when Johnson became president, it was like full on, fucking just sending everything over there. And it went on from, all the way till 72 or whatever. So I'm, like I said, my whole life, I can remember watching, in those days, they would show war footage on the evening news. They would show even Americans. I remember seeing Americans getting killed in the war footage on the evening news. And the body counts, like Bill's talking about. They would have the nightly body counts of death and killed in action and injured and missing in action. All that shit was it was like a daily scoreboard, you know. And so I grew up with that my whole life up to that point, and I didn't think it was ever going to end. So thank God for all of the college students that were really protesting hard, and it finally got into more of the mainstream and more of the older, people that were tired of their sons, mainly. Not that there weren't women over there, mainly they were there as nurses and things, but, there's their children and their husbands, coming back in body bags, and people finally had enough, Wes says they would have put me through grad school. Wow. Says West says my parents went from pro-military to anti-Vietnam, possibly because they had two sons. Yeah, that's exactly it. People were tired of their sons, coming back in body bags or coming back broken, either physically or mentally and emotionally. So I guess we learned something from the Vietnam War, as far as it does seem like we do less of actual. I mean, we did deploy, of course, in the Gulf War of the Bush era. And of H.W. Bush, and then George W. Bush put us back in there in Iraq and Afghanistan. But I do remember when that term "boots on the ground" did become a talking point. Yeah, and they eliminated the draft because of people were tired of just their 18-year-olds being sent off to war. But they did become more aware of that boots on the ground. So that has become a talking point over the years, where the president might say, we're going to intervene, or we're going to do something, but we're not going to send any boots on the ground, because they know that that's a really touchy thing. But I guess we can be pretty much just as effective either through airstrikes or by providing equipment and training. That's what the advisors do, I guess, right? Training and sending equipment, sending weapons and ammo and all those things. And we can do airstrikes. And unless you're in a dogfight, sometimes they get shot down. So, but I think they've kind of learned a lesson about deployments. I know we deployed a lot of guys out to Afghanistan and Iraq. But it wasn't like Vietnam. Or it was just wholesale. And like I said, there's no draft. So it was all volunteer army and a lot of sort of backdoor drafting through calling up National Guard units. Westwood says, your hand draws focus. Oh, yeah. Hocus pocus focus. Okay, so anyhow, it's been over 2 hours, so I think I'm going to go ahead and guess we'll call it a day. I might go live later on today, or I might just shoot some video. I guess of them picking up the truck. If I'm there when they do it, I might not even be there. I don't know. And then I'll try to come back on Thursday. I haven't been doing a lot of lives lately because I've been so involved with trying to get the truck sold and trying to look for a place to live. And here my hands are drawing focus. I guess I should keep my hands behind my back or in my lap. I'll put them in my lap like a gentleman. But I've been so kind of involved with all that. I haven't been doing a lot of lives lately. But I'm kind of settling down a little bit, settling in. I'm trying to get some, like I say, get an apartment and just sort of get settled instead of going from hotel to hotel and all that kind of shit. So maybe I'll try to do more, get back to a regular schedule of lives. Westwood says, I have a dozen videos I haven't published. They are so might make the signal buffer. I don't know. I don't know if that would do that or not. But okay, so thanks for watching. Wes, thanks for participating. Thanks, Bill Deacon. I don't know if you're still here, but thanks for being here and chiming in. Thanks for KO. I don't know if KO is still lurking, but just give you a hearty thanks. Thanks to Jolie for being here for a little while. I hope she's having a good time with her brother. And West says you're moving or something. I'm moving. I'm trying. I don't have a house. I don't have a place. I've been living in a truck for 10 years. Did you not hear me? Yeah, I'm looking for, like I said, I'm looking for an apartment. Or are you talking about moving and am I drawing focus? Is it my movement drawing focus? I don't know. Anyhow, but anyhow, thanks for being here. Whoever is in there, if you're lurking, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the share button, and eventually this will be a much more interesting live stream, I think. Eventually, I don't know why. It probably won't be, but you know, what the hell? I gotta say something. What says no? When you move your hands around, the signal buffers. Oh, really? It buffers. Oh, that's weird. Because I'm not seeing it buffering on either one of my. I've got the iPad and I've got the iPhone. I only saw it drop once a little while ago. It actually shut off and I had to reconnect it. I had to hit the reconnect button. But that's my end. Your end is your end. Anyhow, Wes, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Says only for a few seconds at a time or less, and the pixelations. Well, I feel like I said I'm surprised it's actually even working because this room has been really like if I go into the bedroom or it seems like anywhere the couch where it seems like the signal goes in and out and like this spot has been pretty good. So anyhow. I'll plan on being back here Thursday. I always say 9 a.m., but then it seems like I do work kind of late usually, and get after I Uber and charge up, and by the time I get home, a lot of times I don't get to bed or sleep until 2 or 3 in the morning. So I'm not real chipper at 9 a.m. But I'm going to shoot for somewhere between 9 and 10. Like today, we got started around 10 a.m. So I might just make it 10 a.m. I don't know. But anyhow, you'll see me when I'm live. We plan on Thursdays in the morning, Pacific time, somewhere around 9, 10-ish. Wes says only for a few seconds at a time or less. Oh, I already read that one. Sorry about that. I thought a new one came up. But anyhow, I guess that's it. So I'll go ahead. I'm gonna say goodbye. Probably see you in the chats. I guess Hal's gonna be on at 3 o'clock Pacific time today, I think. So I'll see you guys over there in the chat rooms. And what else is going on? Anything else going on? I guess that's it. So Slava Ukraini. Fuck Putin. May you burn in hell. And with that, I bid you adieu.